Because we know where the plate boundaries are, we know where most of the movement is going to be. That doesn't mean that we couldn't have an earthquake in the middle of a plate, because every once in a while there's a big earthquake in the middle of, North America, Australia, some continental plate. But those don't happen very often compared to the earthquakes at the plate boundaries. And so if you're looking for numbers of earthquakes, most of those earthquakes are going to be at the plate boundaries.
There's really two types of earthquakes. There's the very shallow earthquakes. These occur at the seafloor spreading ridges where the plates are moving apart. Plates are rather thin, so the earthquakes are shallow. Now, there's a completely different type of earthquakes at the subduction zones. This is where the plates are getting subducted back into the earth.
The most violent earthquakes that we see anywhere on the earth are always associated with subduction zones, where you have these two pieces of lithosphere grinding away on one another and pushing into one another. You have tremendous amounts of strain and pressure building up, and when these finally slip, all that pent-up frustration, for lack of a better term, all this pent-up strain energy is suddenly released in an earthquake.
When ocean crust gets old and heavy and sinks down into the mantle, several things happen to it. We know this because of earthquake tomography. Seismologists will look and see where you can actually image these plates as they sink into the mantle, and some of them sink down about 600 kilometers and flatten out, and some of them sink all the way down to the core.
The interesting thing about deep earthquakes is that no one really understands why they occur. The Earth shouldn't really be brittle at depths of 600 kilometers. Yet there's a lot of evidence for deep earthquakes. Not only is there this good evidence for deep earthquakes, but that's really the primary evidence that these plates are being subducted into the mantle. The deep earthquakes follow a particular trajectory. You can look at the trajectory of the deep earthquakes, it's called the Benioff zone, and figure out where all the subducting plates are going.